All right, get ready to dive deep. We're looking at Edison XFC today. You've sent us a mountain of info, articles, press releases, their start engine stuff. Clearly, you want to know what's happened since our October deep dive.
It's interesting because it's not all talk. They're actually making things happen. Big moves, one after another.
Exactly. Remember their big promise. Charging an EV as fast as filling your gas tank. 10 minutes to 80%.
And it's not a dream anymore. They've gotten all the permits, about to break ground on a real station in Vegas.
Las Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
The real-world test, huh? But it's not just about speed, right? They're getting noticed, too.
Energy Tech Review. They named Edison XFC a top 10 charging solution for 2025.
Wow, okay, that's big. What makes them stand out? The EV charging scene is getting pretty crowded.
Well, their origin story is kind of unique. This tech comes from aerospace, believe it or not.
Aerospace, like rockets and stuff?
Yeah. The founders worked on super lightweight, flexible solar panels for satellites and airships, places with no power grid.
So they're taking that, their DC power expertise, and applying it to charging stations. EVs run on DC, right?
You got it. It lets them skip that AC to DC conversion. That's what slows down regular chargers. They charge up a huge battery system overnight when electricity's cheap, then use that for the super fast charging during the day. It's like buy low, sell high with energy.
Smart. So it's not just fast, it's cost-effective and helps the grid too, hitting all the marks. But how does it actually work? Break it down.
Their system has three main parts: solar panels, big battery storage, and their secret sauce, a proprietary energy management system, or EMS.
EMS, huh? That sounds important. What does it do?
Imagine the conductor of an orchestra. It's watching everything. Energy prices, how much power the grid needs, how charged the batteries are, and it makes a whole system run as efficiently as possible.
Constantly adjusting, keeping things smooth and costs low. That's impressive.
That's how they offer those crazy fast charge times without overloading the grid. It's a win-win-win. Drivers, company, and the planet.
So they've got the tech, the recognition, and they're building their first real-world station. What's the latest on that Vegas project?
Permits are in, land secured, even the equipment is on site. Construction's about to start.
Exciting. They're moving from ideas to reality. But what will this pilot station actually prove? What are they hoping to find out?
It's the real-world test for their tech. They'll see how fast the charging really is, energy use, effect on the grid, even how users feel about it. It's proving their claims, showing investors it's not just talk.
So it's a showcase, right? And they're not just inviting the industry folks, are they?
Nope, everyone's invited. EV drivers, potential investors, anyone curious. Showing off the tech, getting people excited for their vision.
A sneak peek at the future. I could picture myself pulling up, charging in minutes. Almost too good to be true.
Well, that's what this station's about, right? Separating the hype from reality. They're putting their money where their mouth is. We'll see if they can live up to it.
They're definitely making progress. But one station's one thing. What about expanding? Can they really go nationwide with this?
That's the million-dollar question. Scaling up is tough for any company, especially in something as fast-moving as EV charging. They'll need to handle their supply chain, make partnerships, deal with regulations.
And that takes money. They're raising capital on Start Engine, which means they're still early stage, right?
For sure. And Start Engine lets everyday people invest, not just the big guys. It's high risk, high reward.
So research is key. Don't just jump on the hype train. Look at their financials, their plans, how much they expect to grow.
Exactly. Know the risks. Early stage investment is a gamble, no matter how promising it looks.
Okay, risks noted.
Yeah.
But let's flip it around. What are some signs that Edison XFC might really have something big here? What's got you feeling cautiously optimistic?
Well, the Energy Tech Review Award is huge. Shows that the experts are paying attention.
And they've got more investments from people already involved, too. That's a good sign.
Right. Those folks know the company best. Plus, they've been very open about their progress, sharing updates regularly.
Transparency is crucial, especially with early-stage investments. Builds trust, shows they're accountable.
And it's not just the good stuff either. They've been upfront about the challenges facing the whole EV charging world.
Like what? Give us some examples.
They've talked about things like charging congestion, too much stress on the power grid, and needing faster, more convenient solutions. They even use reports from places like Bloomberg and Harvard to back it up.
So they're acknowledging the problems, but positioning themselves as the answer. Painting a future where charging an EV is just as easy as gassing up.
Exactly. And not just about speed, they're pushing the sustainable angle too. Good for the planet A&D, the bottom line.
Okay, so they've got the tech, the vision, and they're moving forward. But who are the people making this happen?
That's what we'll look at next time. Time to meet the team behind Edison XFC, learn about their backgrounds and what makes them qualified to lead this EV charging revolution.
Sounds good. Lots more to unpack, so stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive into Edison XFC and their quest to redefine EV charging.
Welcome back. Picking up where we left off, let's look at the people behind the scenes, the ones making this EV charging revolution happen.
Right. A company is only as good as its leadership.
Oh.
So who are the brains behind Edison XFC?
First up, the CEO, Victor Li. His background's pretty interesting.
Lay it on us.
He's not your usual tech CEO, that's for sure. Banking, real estate, even.
Gold mining.
Gold mining. That's a long way from charging cars. How does that even connect?
Well, he took a gold mining company public, got them listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange. That takes a special skill set, understanding those crazy financial markets, the regulations, and building a company from scratch.
So he's not just a big idea guy, he's a builder. Someone who can actually make things happen.
Exactly. And that's key for a startup, right? Always facing new problems, got to adapt fast.
Okay, so Victor Li, the builder, the strategist. What about the tech side? That's where Dr. Joseph Armstrong comes in. He's the CTO, the brains behind their technology.
And his story, was he always into EVs?
Not exactly. He started at Martin Marietta Aerospace, which became Lockheed Martin later on.
Wow, aerospace. From gold mines to rocket science. What did he do there?
Worked on renewable energy for satellites and spacecraft. Think about it. In space, you can't just plug into the grid. You got to generate your own power, make it last, use it wisely.
So he's bringing that experience to Edison XFC, designing a charging system that's not just fast, but self-sufficient, efficient.
Right on. He's a pioneer in solar tech and managing power grids, and now he's applying it to EVs, tackling that charging infrastructure problem.
Like they've got the perfect team, huh? The big picture leader, the tech genius.
Oh, and we can't forget their chairman, Dr. Amit Kumar. He's not in the day-to-day, but he's got a ton of experience in biotech and energy.
More of a strategic advisor then, using his knowledge to guide them.
You got it. He's CEO of a NASDAQ-listed biotech company right now, and he knows a lot about photovoltaics, which is key for their solar power charging.
Okay, so they've got the leadership, the tech, the vision, but let's be real. There are always challenges, especially in something as new as EV charging. What hurdles do you see them facing as they try to grow?
Competition's a big one. There are big companies with loads of money and new startups popping up all the time. Edison XFC has to prove they can not just survive, but really thrive in that crowd.
It's a race. Everyone wants a piece of the EV pie. What else?
Supply chain, that's another biggie. They need a steady flow of parts to build those stations, especially as they ramp up production.
And those parts come from all over the world, right? Global supply chains can be a mess, especially these days.
You said it. They got to stay ahead of problems, find backup suppliers, build strong relationships.
Competition, supply chain. What else keeps you up at night when you think about Edison XFC's future?
Consumer adoption. They can build the best charging stations on the planet, but if EV drivers don't use them, what's the point?
Good point. Building it's one thing, getting people on board is another. So how do they plan to win over EV drivers?
3 things. Speed, convenience, reliability. Those super fast charge times are a big draw, especially for people used to gassing up quickly.
Takes away that range anxiety, right? You're not stuck waiting for hours.
And they're thinking about the whole experience, too. Stations that are well lit, safe, easy to use.
I heard they're even considering restrooms, convenience stores.
Yeah.
It's not just a stop, it's a destination.
That's the idea. EV charging is convenient, even better than what we're used to with gas.
Sounds good, but can they pull it off? Deliver on all those promises?
That's what investors need to figure out. Hype is one thing, but you got to look deeper. Can the company actually make their vision a reality?
Right. Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. So what should investors be looking at when they check out Edison XFC?
Financials, first and foremost. Are they managing their money well? Hitting their revenue targets? That's how you know a company's healthy and can grow.
Transparency is key too, right? Being honest with investors about how they're doing.
Absolutely. And beyond the numbers, look at their partnerships. Who are they working with? Making deals with the big players in cars and energy.
Strong partners mean more resources, expertise, ways to reach customers, all crucial for growth.
Exactly. And last but not least, pay attention to how they're handling regulations. EV charging is a highly regulated field. You got to know how to play the game.
Permits, safety standards, government incentives. That's a lot to juggle.
It is. Companies that can handle that stuff will have a big advantage.
So we've talked challenges, opportunities, what investors should watch for, but let's step back for a second. Look at the big picture.
Okay, zoom out. What does Edison XFC's story tell us about the whole EV revolution happening worldwide?
It's bigger than just one company, right? It's about how we're changing how we get around,
Yeah,
fundamentally.
exactly. Edison XFC focusing on speed and convenience. That shows a big hurdle for EVs. Range anxiety. People are used to filling up fast. They don't want to wait around for hours if they switch to electric.
So Edison XFC is trying to bridge that gap, make EV charging feel familiar.
And their eco-friendly side is important too. It's not about copying gas stations. It's about doing it better, sustainable, and profitable,
They're thinking long-term, not just about making a quick buck.
which is what more and more investors are looking for. Companies that make money and make a difference.
Edison XFC isn't just about charging cars then. It's about a greener transportation future.
And it's a story that's still being written. They're pioneers, shaking things up, pushing the limits of what's possible. No matter what happens, they're going to leave their mark on how we charge our EVs.
So lots to think about. But one more question I'm curious about. In the last part of our dive, let's talk about the impact Edison XFC could have on the whole EV charging scene. Will their vision become the standard, or will something else come along and change everything?
Now, that's a good question. We'll tackle that in our final segment. Looking at the big trends, the challenges and opportunities, and what role companies like Edison XFC might play in shaping the future.
Sounds good. We'll be back soon to wrap up our deep dive and leave you with something to chew on. Okay, final stretch of our Edison XFC deep dive. We've covered their tech, their team, their goals. Now let's talk big picture, the future.
Because this isn't just one company, right? It's a whole industry transforming how we fuel our cars. That changes everything.
No more gas stations on every corner. That's hard to imagine.
Yeah, we're shifting away from that, from relying on fossil fuels. And that opens up so many possibilities for how we charge EVs.
Edison XFC is aiming for that familiarity, that speed, like a gas station, just electric. But is that the only way forward?
That's the question, and it's a big debate in the EV world. Some, like Edison, focus on speed and convenience, appealing to those who aren't quite ready to ditch gas completely.
So familiar, fast, no big change in habits. But what's the other side of the argument? What are the alternatives?
Well, some say focusing only on speed is short-sighted. What if we reimagine charging, integrate it into our homes, work, parking garages, make it seamless, practically invisible?
Not just how fast, but how easily it fits into your life.
Exactly. You don't even think about charging. It just happens while you're doing other things. That's the disruption some people see coming.
I can see the appeal of both sides. But which one wins? Is it a battle between speed and seamlessness?
I don't think it's one or the other. We'll probably see a mix. Ultra-fast stations for long trips, when you need that quick boost.
Road trips, yeah. Or those times you got to get somewhere fast.
Right. But day to day, I think we'll see more integrated charging. Plug in at work, the store, the gym. It just becomes routine.
That sounds pretty ideal. Charge while you shop, work out. EVs become part of life, not a separate thing you got to deal with.
And think about smart charging. Your car talks to the grid, charges when power is cheapest and cleanest.
That's amazing. But let's get back to Edison XFC. Where do they fit into this future? Can they keep up?
That's the key, right? They're saying they're the ultra-fast charging leaders. If they can deliver, they could own that space for those times when speed is everything.
So they've got that niche covered. But what about that bigger shift towards integrated charging? Are they missing out?
Well, right now, they're all in on ultra-fast, but they've shown they can adapt. Think about the user experience.
They've mentioned dual charging ports, well-lit stations, even those amenities like restrooms and stores. Seems like they're open to changing their model as things develop.
Exactly. As the market shifts, as people's needs change, they might need to pivot, offer more than just speed.
Maybe partner with other companies, integrate their tech into existing networks, or even create new solutions for slower, more integrated charging.
Lots of possibilities. But the point is, in a market that's changing this fast, you got to be able to adapt. The companies that can do that are the ones that'll succeed in the long run.
So Edison XFC has a choice. Stick with ultra-fast, be the best at it, or evolve, embrace these bigger trends.
It's a tough call. And that's the risk with investing early on. You're not just betting on a product, you're betting on a team, their ability to handle the unknown.
Right? Leadership, vision, execution. That's what makes this whole story so interesting. We don't know the ending, but it's worth watching.
Totally. They're pushing boundaries, making us rethink how we power our cars. Whatever happens, they'll have shaped the future of EV charging.
So wrapping up this deep dive, what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about?
The EV revolution is here, and it's full of opportunity. Companies like Edison XFC are leading the charge, pun intended. Their stories give us a glimpse of what might be.
A future full of possibilities. New tech, new ways of doing business, a whole new approach to transportation, and it's happening right now.
So stay curious, keep learning, and as always, thanks for diving in with us.